Have you ever looked at a research article, a stack of student data, or even just your own to-do list and thought, there is no way I have time for this? You're not alone. In fact, I don't have time is the number one reason that educators give for not using research or data to drive their decisions. But here's the thing. Time isn't just something we have, it's something we choose how to use. And too often our choices are shaped by habits, urgency, or external pressure rather than intentionality. What if the problem isn't your schedule? What if the problem is how we think about time? Hi, friends, I'm Matthew Courtney, and I've spent over a decade helping educators at every level of our system learn to leverage evidence to make better decisions for their students. If you're into that, make sure you like and subscribe so you'll be notified about future videos. Okay, let's be honest. Schools are busy places. You're putting out fires, responding to parents, writing IEP notes, entering grades, attending meetings, and let's not forget the actual teaching. So when someone says, hey, have you read the latest research on formative feedback? Your brain says, are you kidding me? I'm just trying to get through Tuesday. But here's the truth. Time isn't about having a completely clear calendar. It's about having clarity of priority. It's not whether you have time, it's whether the thing in front of you feels important enough to make time for. And if you're constantly reacting to what's loudest or most immediate, you'll never have time for what's most impactful. Here's a story I come back to often. I once worked with a school that was trying to improve early literacy. Over a 4-year span, they adopted not one, not two, but 3 different intervention programs. Each time they got excited about a new tool. They did some surface level training, they restructured the daily schedule, and they waited for results. But after 6 months, when gains didn't come fast enough, they moved on. Everyone was tired, and eventually someone asked, did we ever actually check to see if this program matches the needs of our students? The answer was not really. It was just the next silver bullet. They never reviewed the evidence base. They never aligned the intervention to their student assessment data. They never set benchmarks to measure impact. Now think about how much time they spent retraining staff, communicating with families, reprinting materials, and reconfiguring RTI blocks. That's dozens of hours per person per year, all for changes that didn't stick. And it wasn't because they were lazy or because they were careless. It's because they were trying to save time by skipping that essential evidence review. Ironically, it cost them more time in the end. So let's flip the script. What if using evidence isn't a time drain, but a time saver? When you use evidence to inform your strategies, when you analyze your data before taking action, you make smarter decisions that require fewer revision. You don't have to keep guessing. You don't have to keep reinventing the wheel. And you don't waste precious hours on things that were never going to work in the first place. Now, I get it. Educators aren't avoiding research because they don't care. It's often because they've not been taught how to use it in a way that fits into day-to-day life in a school. No one trained us to read journal articles efficiently, or to integrate data analysis into lesson planning, or to reflect on implementation using continuous improvement cycles. Instead, evidence gets treated like this extra layer, something that's nice to do if there's time. But what I've learned after more than a decade of working at the intersection of research and practice is that when educators make even small shifts towards evidence use, just 10 minutes here, a planning tweak there, the payoff is enormous. Better results, more confident, less burnout. And yes, more time in the long run. Now imagine this. What if you spent 25 minutes this week reading a high quality study on behavior interventions? And based on that, you tried one new strategy in your classroom. That strategy prevents just one major disruption a day. Let's say 5 minutes of teaching time recovered. Over a month, that's 100 minutes reclaimed. You invested 25 minutes and you got 100 minutes back. That's the real math of evidence-based practice. So if you're feeling overwhelmed or burned out, or like there's never enough time to get ahead, you're in the right place. This video is the first of a series designed to help you find more efficient ways to use evidence. We're going to take it one step at a time. We'll talk about how to use the Pomodoro method to read research without hitting a wall, how to protect your best thinking time with time blocking, how to use batching and delegation to simplify your week, how to build a simple system so that you're not always starting from scratch, and how to do all of this in a way that actually makes sense inside a school. You don't have to become a productivity guru overnight. In fact, you probably won't, and that's okay. You just have to believe that your time matters and that evidence is worth your time. If you found value in this video today, make sure you like and subscribe and check out the rest of the videos in this playlist. I'll see you next time.